So good morning, everyone, again, and welcome to Best Trading Indicators. This event is brought to you by TimingResearch and TradeOutLoud.com. And like David mentioned, the event is recorded, and all the recordings will be available as soon as they're processed on the TimingResearch.com website. And also you can view them on the Timing Research YouTube channel. So don't forget to subscribe and you get an instant notification once David uploads a new video. So David Cospiter and I, Anka Metcalf, will be your host today. And before we begin, let us remind you that all information provided today is for educational purpose only. It should not be construed as investment advice regarding the purchase or sale of securities, options, forex, futures, or any instrument of any kind. So with us today, we have some of the best traders in the industry. So we're very happy to give the mic to Kyle.
All right. Thank you very much, Anka. I appreciate that. It's always good to be around friends. So let's go ahead and get started here. My name is Kyle. I come from Ninjacators. I'm going to give you some background on our company here in just a second. But in keeping with the theme of today, one of our favorite indicators that we like here at Ninjacators is called the golden reversal line. Now, when you look at it on the chart, it's very simple and very straightforward. Really easy to go ahead and implement into your trading, but it really helps you out finding those entries. Sorry about the background noise there. It's really easy to go ahead and find entries in the market, because a lot of times as traders, you get a little bit unsure, you're at a level, but what's the actual entry? Am I looking for a candlestick pattern? Am I looking for some type of indicator divergence or anything like that? Well, this pretty much takes all the guesswork out and really helps you out. And the really cool thing, and this is one of the reasons that it's not just our favorite indicators as a company, it's one of our customers' favorite indicators as well. Because no matter if you're trading on a 1 minute, you can be trading on a 300 tick chart. It really doesn't matter. You can be trading on volume charts. If you like Renko, go ahead and put it on a Renko chart. It's pure price action based. So it's going to take what's on the chart there and look for those entries for you. Now, obviously, results are going to go ahead and vary between those chart timeframes. You'll need to find that what works. That's really up to you as a trader. But as far as entries, it doesn't matter what you use. You can go ahead and use this whether you're a scalper, whether you're trading on a 240-minute time frame, a daily time frame. So if you're a swing trader, you can also go ahead and use this tool, which is really cool and makes things very versatile. So I'm sure I'm going to get some questions and some chats coming in. As a matter of fact, I haven't even looked at the chat quite yet, but I'm not going to go ahead and look on that until we get towards the end, or if there's any type of stopping point as it gets off my train of thought and answering questions. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that to the end. Go ahead and throw your questions in there though as I'm going through, and I'll try to circle back and catch as many of those questions as I can, provided that we have the time. Today also, I'm not even just going to go ahead and show you the tool itself. I'm going to show you how to implement it in your trading, but I'm also going to show you that we've actually implemented this into other systems as well that can really help you out with your trading. Now, before I begin and go any further, I must remind you that trading does carry significant risk, and all information in this video is provided for educational purposes only. It's not an offer or recommendation to trade futures, stocks, options, or Forex. Now, let me go ahead and tell you a little bit about Ninjacators here before we continue to move on, so you know who we are and where we're coming from. All right, give me 1 second. All right. And as a matter of fact, I'll go ahead and see if I can drop this into the chat here so you guys can check this out. Hopefully I did that right this time. I'm a little bit, as my son says, I'm a Zoom noob or whatever they say, but at any rate. So we have the Ninjacators, just to give you an idea of who we are. We're just showing you one indicator today, but we have over 450 different indicators for Ninja traders. We also have them, branching out to other platforms as well. Again, just individual indicators that, you can either take for yourself and make it to whatever you want, or we have programs that you can go ahead and use that indicator in as well. Again, over 40,000 NinjaTrader users in 29 countries trust us with their daily trading. Scrolling down here, again, just to show you, if you go to this link here, you're actually going to get some freebies in here as well. So you got some ebooks down here. Again, if you want to go ahead and just take this indicator and kind of make it yours, or just use these ebooks and try to make something for yourself, that's perfectly fine. We do have bundles. You can see we have like a pure pattern trader that you see here, Elliott Wave Pro, Ichimoku Ninja. These are just bundles. We have strategies, we have education and instruction that goes around with it. You can go to market specific trading as here as well. And then finally, we have private coaching and mentoring. Now, you may fall into the first category here, and you just want very hands-off type of thing. And you just kind of want to get an indicator and just go on your own way and just do what you want. That's perfectly fine. We'll support you there. You may want to get a bundle of indicators. I'm going to show you one bundle here that we use the golden reversal line in. And it kind of gives you an idea of how to put it into a system and then implement it yourself. Maybe you just want to trade the S&P 500 and you just want tools specifically for that. We'll support you there. And then maybe you really just want somebody to help you out and give you that private coaching, and we're there for you as well. All right, so enough about that. Let's go ahead and get into the tool. That's what you're all here for. So let's go ahead and talk about the golden reversal line. Now, there we go. There's some key points of it, and I'm going to go ahead and go through this at a more granular level. And it's a pretty basic indicator, so it should be fairly straightforward for you and help you kind of grasp it a little bit quicker. So first of all, it generates potential entry points in both directions. Now, this is, a lot of our tools that we have are geared, I should say, towards futures and Forex. This will work on futures and Forex because it's price action based. Some of our tools are a little bit more, are more futures based, and some are more Forex based, but typically whatever you see, a lot of what you see on futures, you'll see a lot on Forex as well. But some, futures, for instance, tick generation and all that stuff is obviously just futures based. But at any rate, the golden reversal line is going to show you both in both entries in both directions. And, with the ES and some other indexes and stuff like that, there is more of a long bias to it, right? So that's really up to you. There's some of our traders that will actually use this tool to just help them identify long trades. When you're trading on a shorter time frame, such as scalping or 1 minute time frame or anything like that, I mean, obviously you can go ahead and trade both ways, but there's some traders that will just trade in the long direction, and they do very well with that. Now, this is going to be based, as I said, on pure price action calculations using the market rhythm. So I'll show you what that means here in a second. But the key component of the calculation is the detection of swing highs and lows. All right. So again, very simple and very straightforward here. Uses clear signals with visual, audio, and email alerts. So that's a really cool feature about this tool, is that it's going to go ahead and obviously show you what's going on there on the chart. But it also if you're a trader that has 10 charts open on the day and you can't see everything, sometimes I'm sitting there and I'm working on something else, and all of a sudden I hear a ding and I'm like, all right, something is going on here in the market. I need to go ahead and take advantage of it. There's sometimes I'll get spooked because there's 10 dings at the same time. And there's something at that point, there's something seriously going on with the market, and I need to kind of lock in at that point. If you've been a trader long enough and you're just kind of working off to the side and you hear all those dings or anything going off and you're not focused in, you get a little bit of a panic going on at that point, and you got to do a little bit of meditation techniques to go ahead and calm you down. But you've been doing it long enough as a scalper, you probably know what I'm talking about. But at any rate, if you're away, if you're out of the room, you can always go ahead and hear what's going on in the market. Email alerts. So you can be away from the computer and get an email. So one of the things you can do is, let's say I'm having a busy day, right? But I don't want to really miss any signals in the chart. I go ahead and set up an email, and then in Gmail, I go ahead and set up certain notifications or anything like that. So as soon as that email gets in, I get a special notification on my phone that, hey, something is going on. And I usually set that up if it's like a swing trade, so I don't have to run right back to the computer, but at least I know what's going on, right? Finally, works for any market, works on any chart type and time frame. All right, so here's the golden reversal line. These are some older charts here that I'm going to go ahead and go through, but we're going to go through some live examples here at some point. But just to give you an idea of what you're looking for here in the chart, you have the short line right here, this red line. You have a green long line here as well. Now, if I can annotate correctly here. Now, the signal is generated as soon as you see this dot here. Let's go ahead and change the color of that. Yeah, so as soon as you see this dot there or this dot here, and it breaks that line, as you can see right there, poor handwriting there, that is where you go ahead and go short. You can see this one is where you can go and get long. You can see not a whole lot of meat on the bone there, but you had a couple of short signals here, a great short signal there, and a beautiful long signal here. Now, again, I'm just showing you the basic raw examples of what this tool is, but obviously you can go ahead and pair this with simple support and resistance on your chart. You can go ahead and pair this with any type of volume indicators. Let's say you're undervalued or overvalued. Maybe a POC type of move. Maybe pivot points. It gets to pivot points and give you a signal like that. There's a lot of different ways. This is simply just an entry tool. And that's a lot of traders' kind of problem, is trying to find, where, I want to get into the market, but I always want to know your entries, right? So there's a lot of times traders come to me, and come to a few of us actually, and they say, I'm trying to implement the system and everything. I think I kind of grasp it, but when I'm entering, where would you enter here? Or where would you enter here? Or I'm always entering after you, or I'm always a little bit too early, right? Again, this signal pretty much tells you exactly where to short or what to do. Now, I always encourage the traders to go ahead and back test. But just remember, when you're back testing, and this is true whether you're looking at our indicator today or anybody's indicator today, and you go ahead and back test it. Let's say you back test over 50 times, 50 results or 100 trades there, and you have like a 70% win rate or 75% win rate, and it's looking pretty good. And then you go ahead and live trade it, and you're getting maybe around 55 or 60% win rate. Just remember, when it comes to back testing, that when you take the back testing results and you apply it to live trading, it's always under the assumption that you're going to take every single trade that popped off during those results of 100. That means that you're sitting at the computer and you hit each one of those 100 trades. Now, this signal can go off at any time. It can go off at 2 o'clock in the morning. It can go off at 11 o'clock at night. Are you going to be up taking that trade? And that's the thing when you're back testing that you always got to remember, is that the timing of it. This trade worked out. What time did it happen? Well, if it happened 11:30 at night, maybe I'm sleeping. If it happened at 2 o'clock in the morning, maybe I'm sleeping at that point, right? So at that point, it's not really you're skewing the back testing results. It might look great, but again, a lot of it's assuming that you're taking every signal in that back testing. My recommendation, as soon as you kind of grasp the system and everything and you understand what's going on, is to go ahead and just put a little bit of live money in there and just trade very, very small to get used to it and understand you get a better idea of what your results could be going forward. But the cool thing about this tool as well, that a lot of our traders like, is that you have the line here. All right, you see this green line that here, or the red line that we have here. It provides you an early warning signal. So as the trade is developing, as an entry is developing and it looks like it's going to go ahead and trigger, it's drawing that line, kind of giving you an early warning system, right? Saying, hey, you need to look at this chart. It won't give you an audible alert, but it'll draw that line. And you may see it a lot of, some traders say it's drawing a line, but I'm not seeing a signal. Well, sometimes it'll draw that line and not give you a signal at all. And I think I actually have some examples of that. But what's nice about it is it just kind of cues you up, kind of say, hey, get ready. Something is coming at this point. And then as soon as you get the signal that you see here, just go ahead and execute at that point. You're already, by this point, you're probably already kind of queued up, ready to go. You're just waiting for a signal. And then at that point, once you see the dot there and that signal, you're ready to go, and you're ready to go ahead and execute the trade. Now this is in crude oil. Let's go ahead and clear all of these off here. All right, here it is in the ES on a 1 minute. So you saw it on a 15-minute time frame. Here it is on a 1 minute. You can use it on tick charts. And again, I'm going to go ahead and go through some examples here. You can use it on tick charts, 1 minute charts, 15-minute charts, 60, 240-minute charts here as well. So here's the golden reversal line. Again, giving you an early warning signal with the red line here, and then the entry signal right here. All right. Again, just like every other indicator, work every time. You can see it could have scalped a few ticks out of that one. But here are some great examples over here on the left. And get my pen back out. So you saw from back here that we had this red line drawn, but there was no signal generated. So it was preparing for a short, but then the market moved up a little bit higher, gave you another early warning signal, as you can see here, and then gave us the short signal eventually. Same thing here. You had this green line indicating a potential trade coming up. And if this indeed broke right through here, you probably would have had a trade and a signal at that point. But it didn't break, so no signal or anything like that. Okay, so again, the early warning system, but no signal generated. All right, and then finally you had a long signal here and generated right there. All right, again, early warning system probably triggered right here, probably drew that line, the red line about here, and then gave you the signal there. All right. So let's go ahead and talk about the kind of the nitty gritty here. All right, so that's again, just a quick overview of the tool, what it is and how pretty simple and what you see here in the market. And again, I'm not adding any, so simple things as support and resistance. Some of our traders will go ahead and use divergences with indicators. They'll use anything that they want to go ahead and use. Again, supply and demand zones. And again, we have a system called the triple trigger system that actually a lot of traders enjoy and they like because it provides a location for them, gives them a direction to trade, and then obviously the entry here with the golden reversal line. So it really kind of covers all the bases there. And I'm going to go ahead and touch on that briefly towards the end here. But here is getting into the nitty gritty of it. So as price is moving around, and we talked about how it's trying to get into the rhythm of the market. And we're looking at long trade examples here, but just flip everything that I'm talking about here for shorts. Now at this point here, the indicator is detecting swing points, either swing highs and swing lows here into the chart. Again, no matter what time frame, it could be volume charts, tick charts, whatever. It is just looking at detecting the key swing points here in the market. And you can adjust the sensitivity of it. So let's say that you're in a volatile market. I don't know, corn, oil, wheat, something, right? Let's say you're in a volatile market and it's just giving you too many signals. It's detecting too many swing highs and swing lows. By default, it's actually, tuned pretty well. But at times, it can be a little bit too sensitive. Well, you can go ahead and adjust the sensitivity of that per market. So, just throwing out numbers there, let's just say in the ES, you have a setting of 5. In crude oil, you have a setting of 8. In the 6E, you have a setting of 3, something to that effect. Some of your markets will differ slightly, and that just comes with experience and trying to, just fine tuning the tool through your experience. But at any rate, just showing you how this tool is calculating here. It's detecting these swing points here in the market, trying to get into the market rhythm. As soon as the swing points are in a favorable relation to each other, the indicator will draw the golden reversal line as a heads up for a potential entry alert. So again, the tool is detecting, favorable conditions for an entry. And, a lot of tools will, they look at an indicator and let's say, market does something and forces the indicator pop up above 15 and, there's that indicator is probably based on like RSI and stochastics and some type of variation in combination of all that. as soon as it gives you the signal, it's like, oh, I missed that signal, right? But this is actually saying that the conditions are right, right? The conditions are right there. And, it's very similar to a coach. I come from a sports background, so I use a lot of those analogies. So just bear with me if as I go through this. But, as a coach, they always say you want to put your players in positions to be successful, right? So, for instance, football, a cornerback out there might be 185 pounds, 5'10". I'm not going to have him blocking for my quarterback, right? He's a lot quicker. So I'm going to put him in a position to be successful, right? I'm going to put him in an environment that works out. I'm going to draw up a scheme. I'm going to draw up a situation that actually has him winning most of the time, right? He's not going to win every single, balls thrown over his head. He's going to miss. He's going to trip on the field. There's a hole in the field, whatever the case is, right? But as a coach, you're putting you're trying to create a condition, create an environment for your players to be successful in and to win. They have an edge there, and the coach is trying to exploit that edge and put the odds in the favor of that player. And it's the same thing here that this tool is trying to do for you as a trader, is finding those favorable conditions based on these swing points in the market and saying, hey, get ready. The conditions, the environment is right. Now, finally, an entry alert signal gets generated at the close of the entry bar, and it'll go ahead and actually color code it in green here for you. Now, if you have your own custom charts and stuff like that, for instance, I like to use hollow candlestick patterns, black background, and all that. You'll see what I'm talking about here. And I don't have the color coded, but if you have a transparent chart like this, it'll certainly go ahead and color code that bar. And some of our traders will actually have, there's a small inset of this chart here. So let's say they'll put this on a 1 minute, and it'll have this tiny little window up here at the top, and then all they care about is just a signal, right? They don't care about anything else on that chart. They just want a signal. And so it'll actually go ahead and color code that bar for you. And then if you have an audio alert, it'll ding. If you have an email alert, it'll send that email out as well. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the chart here. All right. And actually, I'll go ahead and reference the chat here real quick if anybody has any questions on that before we get into some examples. Back testing is confusing. I agree with that. Lawrence, does this indicator come with lifetime upgrades? Yes, that's a great question. So when you buy these indicators, if there's any upgrade comes out, and if you're on NinjaTrader, they upgrade constantly. Yeah, every time that there is an upgrade, you'll get that upgrade, not a problem. And another thing too, a lot of our indicators, we have guarantee. If you don't like that indicator for whatever reason, you can always swap that indicator out for maybe another indicator with it, as long as you're within that certain time period. Adam, yes, the indicator does work with Bloodhound as well. All right. Matter of fact, all our indicators come with videos on how to set everything up, and it comes with step-by-step PDFs here as well. So for instance, give me 1 second. All right, so yeah, here's our PDF. Again, and it walks you through everything here, step by step here. All right. How many indicators is too many for a trading system? I wish I could tell you that. I wish I could tell you that. That's really up to you as a trader. There's a friend that brings up some really great analogies about trading and golf, right? So you can have a 7-iron, that's same 7-iron, and let's say I can hit that 7-iron 150, 180 yards. Let's just say 150 yards, right? I can hit it 150 yards, and sometimes I get it where I want it to go, sometimes I don't. I give that same 7-iron over to Tiger Woods. He can probably belt it 180, 190 yards, get a huge loft on it, and have it just land super softly exactly where he wants. and he might not, and he might come out there with 10 clubs in the bag, and might be coming out there with 20 clubs in the bag, just, for every certain condition, lie, whatever is out there. And it's always different. That's a hard question to answer. How many indicators is too many? For me, personally, I like to keep it as simple as possible. I don't like too many indicators on my chart. I don't like to clutter my chart. It's the same thing in my desk. If I have too much going on my desk, if I have papers everywhere, or check here and glasses there, it's just a mess on my desk. My brain just kind of just gets, I don't know, too much. It's like OCD, I guess, or something. I don't know. I just can't handle it, right? So I like to, keep everything as around me as clean as possible and orally. And the same thing goes with my chart. So there's a lot of times where, if I'm looking at a system, there's a lot of indicators on it, and I might start taking, like, I don't really need that. I can, go without that. I can pare it back. I usually trying to scale a system down to give me exactly what I need versus adding more and more indicators onto the chart. It just adds to more confusion for me. Can we get a trial period? So we don't offer trials, but we do the money back guarantee for 30 days. But you can also go ahead and swap that indicator out for another indicator that you might find on the chart. Again, we have like over 450 indicators. So you do have a trial period. We don't call it that, but you do have a 30-day guarantee. And get your money back, or just swap it out for another indicator. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and shut off the chat here for now and get back into some examples here. So here we are on a ES on a 1 minute time frame here, and just looking for some live examples here. You see you had a couple long trades going off here, and let me go ahead and make sure that I have this set appropriately. All right, strength, that's the 10. Now by default, again, this is how you can go ahead and adjust the tool here. So yeah, if you get the tool and you try to use my order ID, guarantee it won't work, so don't try it. It's always specific to your machine. So this will, you'll email this, and then you can go ahead and set that up. Now the strength here by default is set to 5. And then you can shift the line here as well. So I'm going to go ahead and set this to a strength of 5 and by default here, and then hit apply. And then again, I'm on a 1 minute time frame. You can see the signals definitely multiply. You get a lot more. So if you're a scalper, this actually works out really well. And so we'll go through some examples there. Some other settings here. Again, here is your audible alerts here. And this is kind of cool. So there is a way to do it where you can go ahead, and we have a video on it on the website, but I believe that's included in some courses, where you can actually record your own voice and then put it on here. So you can, I could sit there and say, ES long alert. Then I come to a long reversal and put, click whatever it is, ES long alert. And so it'll say it, the computer will actually say that as I'm going through. So you have your audible alerts there, your email set up here as well. And then your visuals, you can go ahead and change the visuals of the tool here. Okay. And then you can go ahead and show all the historical levels, the signal bar color here if you like, or just a dot. Okay. And some of our traders will actually like this here. So let's say that they turn that off. Actually turn that on, and then the one line will just turn the line on and off. So this is a very clean way to go ahead and trade this. So you just see the dots here. So you have a couple long dots here, a short dot there, long dot there. And again, this is a 1 minute chart just set for scalping. A couple short dots there. So again, it keeps it real simple. You don't get that early warning line. Again, it's completely customizable and up to you. But I'm gonna go ahead and leave everything here as such. And then based on your market, you may need to go ahead and change the strength. I'm gonna go ahead and hit apply. And then here's another tool here, the shift. So you see how the lines are right on top of the bars themselves. Sometimes you want these to go ahead and just, you can see how it actually shifts a little bit down. All right, so it kind of gives you a little bit more of an early warning. If I do negative, let's say 5, All right, you can see it actually shifts a little bit higher here as well. So it doesn't really affect the strength, but it's also looking for a break of this bar. So you're giving it a little bit more room to go ahead and operate. You can see it actually alters some of the long signals and short signals here. You can see this long signal was generated a little bit later, and this one was generated pretty much on time. But you can go ahead and actually shift the signal here as well. Go ahead and hit OK. And there we go. Now just showing you some quick examples here. Here's the most recent one. Here's a quick long trade here. Didn't move nearly as much as you want, but a nice little long trade there. Yeah, a long trade actually through here. All right, so this one would have been a stop out, but you had these trades are pretty much one and the same. Nice little long trade there. Again, just on a 1 minute, just looking at a scalping perspective. Nice little short trade there. Squeeze a few ticks out of the market. Beautiful short trade here as well. Probably would have made your morning there. And again, I'm not adding, this is just an entry tool. You can go ahead and add support and resistance, and I'll actually walk through a couple of those examples here as well. But just looking at just the raw entry part of this tool. And some traders will go ahead and trade this just like this. Others will obviously go ahead and put a lot of things with it, but that's up to you as a trader. Here is, and I'll show you, again, I'll show you kind of a system that we use with this tool. Here's a long setup here as well. A nice little short trade there as well, kind of one and the same here in this trade. Another short trade there, long trade there, and so on and so forth. Let's look at a different time frame here. Let's go ahead and go to a 5 minute. All right, short trade here. You can see this one didn't really go too far here. You can see on a 5 minute, you probably want to go ahead and adjust this strength here a little bit. I believe I had this on 8 or 10. There we go. I think I had this on 10. All right, so you can see here on a 5 minute, you can see the signals really die down here when you have a strength of 10. But you can see a nice short signal there. There was it was getting ready for a long signal, but you can see there was no long signal actually generated. Here, you did have a short signal here. You can see this one were stop outs here, but this one, you can see that, based on these trades here, your stop out to be pretty minimal here compared to some of the winners that you get. Again, long trade there, probably could have scalped a few out of that one, but you can see this one reversed on you. But again, just milking that short trade. You might not even have taken some of these long trades. All right, you can see another short signal generated, but there's no signal there. And had a beautiful long trade here as well. You can see some of these trades, when they hit really hard and really well. A nice short trade here as well. Now, let's go ahead and back out here. Again, as you can see, I'm not form fitting anything, just looking at the most recent results. Let's say that, you want to trade on a 5 minute, but you want to go ahead and, trade at these, really good edges of the market, right? You don't want to just take every single entry signal that you see here on the chart. You want to add some structure to it, which I 100% agree with. Now, I mean, you're going to have some traders that come in and they're just going to go ahead and take every signal that they just love the golden reversal line. They got nothing good but good things to say about it. And they just go ahead and take every single trade that it generates. That's up to you. At the end of the day, it's all about risk management and position sizing, right? If I have 5 trades in a row and I'm losing, and I'm losing 5 ticks on each trade, 10 ticks on each trade. Let's say each trade, I have 5 trades in a row. I lost 10 ticks, right? I'm down 50. But then I have a couple winners, and that went 100 ticks, 80 ticks, 50 ticks. Maybe one trade just went 50 ticks, right? And then I had another trade that went 30 ticks, and then another trade that maybe only went 10 ticks, right? At the end of the day, it's all about position sizing. Can you use this entry signal tool as just its own system by itself? You can if you'd like to, but I've seen traders that are able to make success with it, but they have a lot of ups and downs and whatnot. And sometimes they're trading at areas I'm kind of scratching my head on. But, they come out in the end because they're positioned correctly and they're great risk managers. You know, they're able to sit on their hands and wait for a right signal to come up, or even if it's every signal, but they're able to manage their risk through it. And they manage their risk a lot. Everybody manages their risk differently. You have traders that as soon as it gets into profit by 5 ticks, you put the stop to break even, you take a contract or two off, and then you let it run to another level, and so on and so forth. As a matter of fact, we have a 5-day workshop coming up next week. And in that 5-day workshop, and it's $97 if you want to join, we're going to show a specific price action strategy every single day. So every day you're going to get a new strategy. And then, day 2, we're going to go ahead and recap and show you another strategy, and so on and so forth for five days, right? No indicators, nothing. And, you can take that and use a tool like this and make it better. It's really up to you. We're just, we're kind of giving you a toolbox to go ahead and build whatever you want to go ahead and build off of. But we have a trader that sent me, one of our traders, internal traders, that sent me his results this morning just off trading. And, he trades a little bit differently. He tiers out of his trades. He's not all in or all out. He scales out of his trades as it's going. Sometimes he adds into his trades, but he's a great risk manager, right? But the trader next to him doesn't do that, right? So it's up to you how you want to implement this. But I'm going to go ahead and hide all the reversals here for now. And let's go ahead and back out to, a 60-minute here. All right. And for now, I'm just going to go ahead and highlight some support and resistance areas, and then we'll see how the tool reacts to those. And I'm probably going to do some historical levels here as well, so we can get some historical trades. I'm trying to be a little aggressive with these lines here. All right, so let's just go ahead and take a look at that. Let's go ahead and back down to probably better on a 15-minute, but we'll look on a 5. All right, so just backtracking here. Again, this one's probably a little bit easy here. So you can see we got to the resistance point here in the market. We put in a high, and then we got a short signal there. All right, so that one's kind of a layup, right? So let's go ahead and back up here. All right, so we got down to this area down here. We actually came up, as you can see here, we had a, bouncing up against this area here, a bit of resistance here in the market. You did have a long trade that triggered right through here. Now, again, how you implement this is up to you. If I had a long trade here, I probably wouldn't have taken that trade because it didn't break above this resistance area. This one has a little bit of room right here. I'd probably take a long trade here. Yeah, this one's almost right on that resistance. This one has a little bit of room, so I would execute on this trade, and you got a few ticks out of that one. Here's a nice short trade, however, and this is bouncing off the line. Nice trade right there. Beautiful long trade. This is a great example here. So let's go ahead and hopefully that'll stick out here a little bit better. So here's a great example. So this, to me, it's a little bit thick, is a great trade. Is a much better trade than you see, right through here or here. See, this one closed right here on the level, whereas this one has a little bit of room here. So not the best trade in the book, but I would execute on that trade. There's a little bit of meat on the bone there. Not much, but, it's enough. However, this one here had a really nice close. Oh, right there. Yeah, that one here has a really nice close above a resistance there with that long signal. So this one here is just screaming to me that I need to go ahead and execute that trade. And this just comes with experience and just, watching price action here on the market. You have a nice strong close there. It's above a previous high and above a resistance level. So this trade is excellent. This trade is, I would give this an A. This one I'll probably give like a C. This one will probably be like an F, a D or an F. You had another trade up here. Again, this long signal right here is kind of in the middle of the range here. This one you did actually have bounced down, and then you had a nice strong close beyond that one. This one here is a 50-50. I would say, it's in the middle of the range. It's not the best, but let's say you went ahead and executed that trade. Okay. And that's, I'd say give that about a C. It's a 50-50. It's in the middle of the range, but there's a little bit of meat on the bone between here and resistance. So I would execute on that trade. I wouldn't be happy about it, but maybe instead of taking, you know, 8 contracts, I might take 4 contracts on this one. And then you can see this one would have been stopped out, but you had another nice short trade here. Again, good meat on the bone between this area and then a potential target area. Go ahead and execute that trade right there. You can see it blew through that target, and then you got some more. All right. Let's go ahead and back up. All right. Long trade here. Again, get the arrow. It's a lot cleaner. Again, there's some room between this long trade here and then this resistance area and these highs that you see from back here. So I would go ahead and execute that trade. Again, target that area there. You can see it bounce back, but that was a beautiful long trade if you're able to manage that correctly. Short trade here, but nothing was triggered. Again, kind of setting you up for it here. This trade was setting you up for it. Gave the early warning signal probably about here, and then gave you this short trade that you see there. Again, this is just putting support and resistance with it. Guys can put whatever indicator you want with it. Again, you can see that if we had a potential long trade on this line here, but you can see it never triggered there, but it did trigger on this line here. Short trade, stop out, and again, another stop out there. But you can see these stop outs are pretty small in comparison to the winners. All right, and go ahead and clear all that off. All right, coming back here. A little bit of a choppy, messy market here, but you did have a nice long trade right through there. And then, again, could have got some nice ticks on it. This looks like news related. Not sure exactly what that was. Might have been something, yeah, definitely news related. Probably something from the Jackson Hole symposium last week. But I wouldn't recommend trading this around news events like this. You do get a short signal here. Obviously, it was a bust. But this looks like a news event. I would definitely not trade around that. But before that, you did have a nice long trade coming off support. A little bit of a short trade here coming into support here. Again, a little bit of room here between that and support. So it's a good enough trade. Here is, again, a stop out there and potential stop out there. All right, and coming back here, yeah, a little stop out there as well. Nice little long, actually coming back here. Move this out of the way. Actually had a nice little long trade there right into resistance. Again, another beautiful long trade here. You can see that with something when you get these winners, a lot of these winners can be pretty impressive. Now, while I have some time here, I want to show you something, you know, how to take this a step further. And this is within our, I believe it's our ES Quick Strike program, or the S&P 500 program. Let me go ahead and show it to you. So it's what we call the triple trigger concept. And the concept and goal behind the triple, just give you some background to what this is. The concept and goal behind it is that you need 3 criteria in order to place a trade with high probability. And that is direction or value, price or location, and timing, which would be the entry trigger like we've been going over. Now, direction or value will determine which way you trade the market, short or long. Price or location will determine where you need to look for a trade within the market. And the timing entry trigger will determine when you need to execute the trade. Now, the trade expectations of a triple trigger setup should be around 1 or 2 per day. All right. However, we shouldn't expect to take only 1 or 2 trades a day if there are multiple opportunities, especially if you're looking at different markets such as the NASDAQ. I guess it was pulled from the NASDAQ. If you have 2 or 3 of the criteria and it still qualifies as a setup that you need to take. If you're in an area in the market with an entry trigger, location, and at least a 20 tick profit potential, then you have what you need to execute a trade. And this is so true. Not just with this concept, but you can apply this to any trading out there. Do not sacrifice good for perfect when you are day trading. Good is definitely good enough. Some of these trades that I highlighted here, even with the, just using support and resistance, they're not perfect, but they're good enough. They can, they'll pay the bills. They pay for dinner for the week, whatever the case is, right? They're good enough. Sometimes, you're going to have these perfect setups and everything comes together and you just want to put this in a textbook and publish it, right? And it doesn't do anything. It just kind of fizzles out. It doesn't really do exactly what you look for. And you waited so long for that perfect setup. Trading can be messy, especially in choppy markets, especially in the summertime months. I remember summertime months where probably from mid to late July till, probably around now, about mid-September. I mean, August was just a rough month. It was slow. It was not fun to trade at all. And I mean, now it's different, right? The last few years there's just volatility, there's movement. Last week, and we had a couple of weeks here in August that were just very choppy, very frustrating weeks and stuff like that, but not like it used to be. It used to be very slow. It's like watching paint dry at times. But don't sacrifice good for perfect when it comes to trading in general. If you have a good enough setup, if the edge is present, if the edge is there, you have good position sizing and risk management, then you have to execute the trade. There's nothing about it, right? You got to execute the trade. So here again, we have 450 plus tools. This is just, these are all different tools that we have here, kind of combining to make a system. And as you can see here, the golden reversal line is a part of the timing part of it and the entry. But you have direction here. I'm going to show you an example here in a second of market valuation tool or the line in the sand. You just need to use one of these tools. So for instance, I would go ahead and use, let's see. All right. So I would go ahead and use, let's say, market valuation tool. So it is at a cheap level here in the market. Maybe it's at a previous settlement area here as well. And then I have the trigger here with the golden reversal line. All right. So the direction, the market is undervalued. So it's looking, you want to go ahead and buy the dips type of situation here. It's at a previous settlement level here as well. And so I have those two things going in my favor. Then I'm just waiting now. And as soon as the golden reversal line triggers, I'm in the trade and I'm ready to go. All right. So, here's an example here in the NQ. All right. So I have market valuation. Now, you can look up here towards the top. Get my arrow here, much better. If you look up here near the top, I'm going to move this away. I have the market valuation tools and the golden reversal line here as well. All right. So I just actually have both of those tools combined with support and resistance here in the market. All right. And you can see that and when you're in this area up here, the red area is more of a sell zone. All right. So you want to go ahead and actually look for shorts here in this direction. Down here is a buy zone. You want to look for longs here. Now, every time it goes into the red zone, you're not automatically shorting. You want to wait for an entry signal here. So we get into this area, even though we have a long that comes here, we're not looking for a long. We look for the short signal right there. Comes down, and these are just, again, these black lines here and this gold line here. These are just support and resistance levels. But you can see that we're getting back into this area. We have a long signal that comes up. But again, we're up towards this red area here as well. So I'm just looking for a short signal. Bam, there's a short signal right there. All right, so you can see how a system can actually filter out a lot of these trades. All right, so we had a long there, did not take it because we're up here near the top, and so on and so forth. There's a long trade, if you can see from back here, that did not trigger. Well, it did trigger here, but again, we're in the red zone here, so we're not looking for a long. Come down here, we're towards a buy zone. We actually have a long trade there. Doesn't look like it worked out. This one, these two trades might have been one and the same, but you're just looking for buy signals here at this point. And this trade actually, it came down here a little bit and kind of chopped around, and then eventually, I think it hit it to 78.15 or 78.20 here, here in the market, if I remember correctly. So again, it's just combining, using the golden line reversal and just combining it with other tools and so on and so forth. All right. All right, so we go ahead and just reference the chat real quick. Lawrence, yes, between refund or swap. Yeah. Okay. Lee, can you put it into a higher time frame at the same time? Yeah, as a matter of fact, let's go ahead and put it 60-minute. All right, so I have to adjust it here on a 60-minute. You see actually some nice signals here as is, but if you want to swing trade it, you can certainly do that. Actually, I would actually leave it at 8 here. And you can see it's looking for a short signal right now, but it's looked at this a couple of times for a short signal, but nothing triggered. Nice long signal there. I did have a small short signal here. Didn't really do a whole lot, but you're in an uptrend here, so I would probably just look for a long signal here at this point. And it's a nice bull flag type of pattern. A couple long signals here. Nice short signal there. Actually, another nice short signal there. These ones probably be out for, this one you probably stopped out. This one you're out probably for scratch or stopped out. Nice little short signal there. Could have squeezed something out of that one. A long signal here, but kind of grinding along. But you can see on the higher time frames works just as well as the lower time frames. Now you have a big bar like this. When you get these big moves like that, you know, you could take a short there. You know, this would have been stopped out obviously if you held it all the way back up here. So I would, you know, this one or these are tough. In all honesty, I stay away from these. I know traders who do take them and they trade them in a specific way. So for instance, when it breaks, they wait for it to come back to the line and then short it, but their stop is somewhere in this area. To me, that's a little bit much. So, you know, these big bars, I personally stay away from, but I know traders who do take them. Little short trade there, maybe could have made something out of that one. But again, any time frame that you like, this tool is pretty effective. Eric, do red or green lines repaint as time progresses? They don't repaint, but as you can see here, like they'll stay there on the chart, but they'll just start a new level. Oh, Elizabeth, sorry, I am way past that point. I'm not sure. I probably blew past that. I apologize. But yeah, getting back to Eric, they'll go ahead and repaint, not repaint, but just draw a new level and just kind of stay fixed there. This works on NinjaTrader. I believe they're trying to put it on different platforms as well, but for now, works on NinjaTrader. NinjaTrader 8 and 7, I believe. All right, guys. And finally, before I only have a couple minutes here, and I'll put this into the chat here as well, so you guys can go ahead and click on that and check it out. I'll walk through the website with you here real quick. So again, we have a 5-day trade setup workshop that you can go ahead and access. Yeah, me and my partner, we're going to go ahead and go through and give you a new just a pure price action setup every single day. So every day you're going to get one new price action setup. And again, it's only 97 bucks. It's going to be an hour long. It starts at 4:15 p.m. Eastern time next week, and then go for again until about 5:15 or so. And then we're again, you know, you can go ahead and use your indicators along with it, but there are just very simple price action setups that we're going to show you on a day-to-day basis to help you out. So you can go ahead and go through that and you know, see if something you want to go ahead and you know, enter into. Again, only 97 bucks. As a matter of fact, we had one of our traders using the system today, this morning actually, and did really well. Made about $3,000 this morning using the system. Here he is on the YM. You can see here, again, August 31st right there on the most recent contract on a 1-minute time frame. Again, just using pure price action, as you see. He's up 98 ticks at this post here. And if you can see underneath that, not a sim account, definitely a live account. but you can see he made about $3,000 this morning. So, and this is a great example of traders kind of scaling out. And, you know, some traders are all in or all out, but as you can see here, he's a little bit aggressive, and he's going to go ahead and scale out as the trade works in his favor. But at this point, yeah, he was up about $3,000 using one of the strategies here. Let me see what strategy that was. I believe that was the triple play setup here. All right. Yeah, we're gonna answer questions in the 5-day workshop here as well. Answer questions there at the end. We'll always have the guy there on the chat, so I don't have to go back and forth. I can just give you material and give you setups to go ahead and take advantage of. This is going to be futures based. You can use some of these setups here on, I think 4 out of the 5 or 3 out of the 5 you can use on Forex markets, but it's going to be futures based primarily, and yeah, just real simple stuff to go ahead and help you out. Andy Crowder? No, that's actually Bill and myself. All right, I'll go ahead and leave it there unless there's any other questions. All right, David,